Growing your own delicious bananas right here in the Florida sun is incredibly easy. In fact, I've boiled the entire process down to a simple 3-step system that takes all of the guesswork out of it. But it's the third step, the one that almost everyone gets wrong, actually truly separates a yard full of just giant leaves from a yard that gives you hundreds of homegrown bananas. We're going to break down all 3 steps right now. But before we dive into step 1, we need to understand what a banana plant actually is, because it's probably not what you think. And knowing this will make the whole system make more sense. Here's something that blows most people's minds. A banana is not actually a tree. It's actually the world's largest herbaceous perennial, more closely related to ginger than a tree. What looks like a trunk is actually a pseudostem made of really tightly wrapped leaves. It's pretty much a really big piece of grass. They actually grow from a big underground rhizome called a corm, and they reproduce by sending up new shoots called pups. This whole cluster is called a mat, and thinking of it as one big family, one organism is helpful. And just like a family, it needs a little management to stay healthy and productive. If you just let it go wild, you'll get a crowded jungle of really skinny, competing plants that struggle to produce good fruit. But if you actively manage the mat, you create a perpetual banana-producing assembly line. Here's how. First, you want to maintain the ideal structure. Think of it as succession planting. This gives you maximum fruit production. You want to follow the 3-plant rule. At any given time, your mat should have 3 main plants. The first one is the main, mature stalk that is currently fruiting. This is your producer. Number 2, the second plant, a follower that's about half to 3/4 grown. This is your next in line for fruit. And 3, a brand new pup or baby that you've selected to be the next follower. By thinning out all of the other pups that pop up, you're telling the plant's root system, the corm, exactly where to send its energy. You're focusing it on the succession plan, ensuring that as soon as you harvest one rack, the next plant is already well on its way. Now, this brings us to the most active part of managing the mat, pruning. This means you need to regularly remove the extra pups that aren't part of your 3-plant plan. The easiest way to do this is just to take a sharp shovel, drive it straight down between the pup that you want to remove and the main plant. This way it severs the connection, and then you just pop the pup out. You can then actually replant that into a pot, maybe somewhere in like somewhat protected area so that it can actually take root. And you can later plant that out into your yard and start a whole new banana circle. We'll talk more about plant removal and pruning in step 2 of the 3-step process though. Okay, now for actually step 1, setting the foundation. This is where you make decisions that will guarantee your success. It's putting the right plant in the right place. Let's talk plants. Your choice of variety is huge. If you're just starting out in Central or South Florida, grab a dwarf Cavendish, sometimes called blue Java. They have a creamy, vanilla-like taste, or a dwarf Orinoco. They are reliable, they're hardy, they're pretty easy to find. They're perfect for getting confidence up. The dwarf Namwa variety is famous for that flavor, and it has a beautiful pink color to its stem. Really nice. Or you could try ladyfinger varieties for smaller, super sweet kind of dessert bananas. Now, for my North Florida gardeners, this part is for you. You need a variety that can handle a frost. The dwarf Orinoco or the dwarf Namwa are good options. The leaves may die back, but the corm underground will survive. And here's a pro tip. After a frost, don't cut off the dead leaves. Leave them on and actually wrap them around the main stem, kind of like a blanket. This insulation can save that stem, meaning it doesn't have to start all over from the ground. And you actually get fruit much, much faster the next season. Okay, so you've got your plant. We know good varieties. Now for the right place. Bananas are looking for really 3 things: sun, water, and shelter. For sun, they need 6 to 8 hours of direct sunlight for best fruit, but they're actually originally an understory plant, so they can get sunburned. A little dappled shade during the hottest part of our Florida afternoons is perfect. For water though, They're incredibly thirsty. They love to drink. That low spot in your yard where water always collects, bananas paradise. They need consistent moisture, but they actually do not like to sit in stagnant, swampy water. Think moist, not mucky. And for shelter, their giant soft leaves, these are the solar panels for the plant. When the wind shreds them, it dramatically reduces the ability to make food and grow fruit. Plant them along a fence, maybe the side of your house, or behind tougher trees that can serve as a windbreak. And as for the best time to plant bananas in Florida, plant bananas in Florida from spring to early summer, with specific timing depending on your region. April to June for North Florida, March to June for Central Florida, and almost year-round is possible in South Florida. So spring and early summer remain the best for active growth. Okay, here's a great tip if you want to create the ultimate self-sustaining system. You can build a banana circle. This is a permaculture technique where you actually dig a big pit in a sunny, wet spot of your yard. You fill that pit with old logs and branches. This is called hugelkultur, and they act like a sponge. You plant your bananas on the mound that you made from the excavated soil around the pit. The central pit becomes your compost pile, essentially, and a rainwater collector. It's a self-watering, self-fertilizing banana-making machine. All right, your banana is in the perfect home. You got a great variety. Now for step 2, the ongoing care loop, which I call feed the system. A wise gardener once said, you can't overfeed a banana, and they were absolutely right. First and foremost, mulch is mandatory. A thick layer of hardwood mulch or wood chips is essential. Here in Florida, it keeps the soil moist during our dry spells, suppresses weeds, and constantly breaks down, providing a slow release meal for our banana plant. They are super heavy feeders. They love compost, all kinds of manure. Chicken and rabbit are fantastic, and they go crazy for the potassium in wood ash from your fire pit. So if you have that, save it, throw it around your plant. Potassium is actually essential for fruit production in a banana. And one of the best ways to feed your banana plant is by chopping and dropping old banana plants that have already produced. Banana plants only ever produce one rack of bananas. After that, they will never make another one. So it's best to cut that stalk down. So here's a trick from our friend Pete Canaris at Green Dreams. If you haven't checked out his channel, I highly, highly recommend that you do. It's full of amazing information. But when you're chopping down the stalk, take a machete and cut the plant down to about 6 inches above the soil line. Then take a knife or something like maybe a spoon, carve out a little bowl or a hole in the center of that stump. That will fill with rainwater and will drown any beetle eggs that get laid in there, protecting your entire banana mat from pests. The banana weevil is a very common pest here in Florida, and it really, really likes freshly cut banana trees. This method reduces pests in the future. And then with all of those pieces of the banana tree that you have chopped down, it's best practice to actually take your machete and split those in half. That way you can lay them face down on the soil in your banana circle, and this will help trap moisture in the soil and keep your plants nice and healthy. Constantly chopping down spent banana trees and laying them in your banana circle will keep your bananas very, very happy. It's the engine of this feeding system. It returns all of its stored water and nutrients right back to the mat to fuel the next generation. It's the ultimate recycling program. And that brings us to step 3, the step I promised you, the one that separates success from failure. The mistake isn't complicated. It's kind of a lack of patience and not knowing when to act. It takes about 1.5 years for a new pup to mature and fruit. You have to be a little patient with this, but soon this incredible purple teardrop-shaped flower will emerge. As its petals or bracts lift, they reveal little tiny hands of bananas. Now, listen closely. This is the secret. Don't wait for those bananas to turn yellow on the plant. Okay? Do not wait. Our Florida squirrels can sense a ripening banana from 3 counties away. You will lose the entire rack. Watch the rack. The moment the first few bananas at the top lose their really sharp edges, they get a little bit more plump and start to turn from this deep, flat green to a lighter, brighter green yellow, it's time. Harvest the entire stalk and bring it into a protected area, a shady place like a garage or maybe a covered patio, and hang it up. And I found it best to hang them upside down. This puts less stress on where the bananas actually connect to the rack and lessens the chances of the bananas breaking off. Over the next week or two, it will ripen to absolute perfection, developing a much better, sweeter flavor than it would actually on the plant. Once you master this system, you won't have just a bunch of bananas. You'll have an overwhelming abundance. But what do you do with over 100 bananas? That's a ton of bananas. The ripe ones, obviously, perfect for just eatings or smoothies. You can let them get even more ripe for banana bread. The green ones, though, you can treat them kind of like a potato. Slice with them and make crispy banana French fries. The flower itself is actually edible as well. It's a delicacy in Asian salads. And the leaves are perfect for steaming fish or making tamales, giving food a wonderful but subtle flavor. So there it is, the complete system. 1, the right plant in the right place. 2, feed the system constantly. And 3, be patient and harvest early. It really is that simple. You know, all the work in the system is front loaded and it's a perennial source of food. Thanks for watching. I really hope this helped. Now go get your hands dirty and grow some bananas here in Florida.